What's up, guys? Marvel Madness here with Matt Fuller, OCD Sketch Cards. What's up, Matt?
How we doing? I just realized I should probably change my name on the screen, shouldn't I? Gotta
Oh, what does it
do that.
say?
I gotta do that branding. I'm on Matt
Oh,
F. Hubble.
OCD. No, you're good. They know you as Matt Fuller as well, so shouldn't be that bad. So, okay. I'll just wait for people to pop in here, but
There we go.
welcome tonight, guys. We have a great topic tonight. Um, it actually was Matt's idea. And so I kind of thought, I could play off what he was talking about, and we named it "Lost in Translation." And you'll quickly, once we kind of talk about Matt, I'm going to have Matt talk about what his whole his whole point was on it. But mainly, you can kind of think about it as discussions in person, face to face, or meeting someone in person and talking is a lot more healthy than someone that would just say one message on Facebook or Instagram and someone take it totally different. And so that we're going to start a discussion on that and go from there. So,
Absolutely.
but before we get into that, we're going to go into some pickups. So,
Woohoo!
Matt, I know you got some pickups, and I'm going to show some pickups, and we'll see what kind of goodies we have for the week.
Sweet. All right. You want to do some alternating? I'll
Yeah,
start with
let's
this
do
is an
some
eight.
alternating.
All right. This is an AP. So this is an artist I just was introduced to, uh, Sugiyartu Aliperta. So I had them do a New Mutants AP. So we get the whole crew there: Cannonball Magic, Sunspot, Wolfsbane, and Danny.
Oh wow,
I was very happy. I'm pretty sure he still has some APs, and he is on Insta. Again, Sugiarto is his first name. So if you look him up, I am sure you will find him. If not, send me a message and I'll look you up.
what did you say his Instagram was?
You know what? While you're showing yours, I will look it up real quick.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay, so first off, I have a couple goodies here. They're some are I guess when card related, no, but Marvel related, yes. So first off would be these X-Men Pogs. Now I do have a set of just Wolverine Pogs, but this sealed set had Wolverine right on the front. So I was like, you know what? I need to grab that. So that's what I did. And then it's got an X-Men Slammer as well. If those who know about X-Men, those who know about the game Pogs. Did you play Pogs, Matt?
I had Pogs. I never really had anyone to play it with.
Oh,
So
okay.
even back then, I was like, ooh, shiny, pretty. And they just sort of sat around.
Yeah,
Oh,
nice.
and and I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Studio Zoo, who did that last AP, is in the channel. So fantastic.
Nice. That is awesome. All right, who do we have in chat? I haven't even been paying attention. So
And
we
looks
have
like
True.
Nathan posted about 2 hours ago.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's on a little early.
We got Hump D's. What's up? What's up, Hump D's? And then we got Kellen, my nephew. What's up, Kellen? Um, let's see. You sent him some stuff, right?
Sent him a few lizards on EPAX. Yep.
Nice. Hey, Kellen, if you haven't, I don't know if he's even accepted them because I don't know if he
He
gets
did.
on there.
Yep. You got him.
Oh, good, good. Mr. No Name, what's up? How's it going, bud? William Johnson. Nice. Sweet stuff. Okay, well, you have something else there,
Oh, I
Matt?
got plenty.
Okay.
In something that will surprise no one, we have another Danny AP. This one's actually a pack pulled that was on eBay that I
Okay.
grabbed. This is Mike Mastermaker. Just a nice, real clean style there.
Oh,
Really
wow.
like what he was able to do.
Now
Not too
she
shabby.
she has a bow and arrow, right?
Yes.
Does she have powers at all? I don't know too much about her.
Yes. So her main power, her original code name was Mirage. So she could telepathically show you your greatest fear, essentially.
Oh wow,
So
okay.
she, if you're a gamer, she'd be what you'd call like the illusionist or the crowd control.
Okay.
But later on with the bow, she does have the bow, and at one point the bow became magical, so it doesn't even have a string. It's sort of like, I'll date myself here, but if you'd ever watch the old D&D cartoons from the '80s, you had the ranger with the magic bow, very similar to
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
And at one point, she even became a Valkyrie. So, yeah, she's had some pretty good powers over the years.
Oh wow. That is cool. All right.
Another one. All right, there we
Oh,
go.
my next I can do a couple more.
Let's do it.
We'll go back and forth. This one I had been searching for quite some time, and it came up for very cheap, and I'm so excited. But it's a promo.
Oh wow.
This is a promo card from Universal Studios, and I couldn't find it for the longest time. Like I saw a couple listings for it, I missed out on them, and then they went away for so long, and then they came. Like there was a couple that came back, and I'm like, okay, there we go. So I actually was able to. I think I pick up 2 of these, but right now this is just the one. So pretty sick, pretty
That's
awesome.
It's funny. Just today, too, over in MCCW, someone was posting some Universal Studios trading cards, playing cards that
Okay.
had the characters on them. So it's interesting that all of a sudden the Universal Studio stuff is coming up.
Yeah,
Somebody had a garage sale.
maybe. All right, what do
I'll
you got
keep
next?
the sketch card theme. I don't know. See if you know who that one is.
That's Nightcrawler, but what? Who?
So the
I don't
artist
know
is
the artist though.
So Katie Cook does this wonderful cartoon style. A lot of times hers don't really come up because who is it? I think it's Thuy in the group is a huge Katie Cook collector.
Okay.
To the point where he's got the vast majority of her Marvel cards. So anytime I can sort of find one and snag it, it's always like a little victory dance for my tiny little pile compared to his hoard.
Oh gosh, that's
But
cool.
she's one of those fun styles that I don't think you see as much these days because of the focus on realism. So I definitely love showing something like that off.
Well, I'm pretty excited to see another set that has quite a bit of that. I hope, and that would be the anime 2 that comes out, and those type of sets with anime bringing out those little characters, those are pretty cool. So
yeah, and the first anime was what a breath of fresh air, right?
yeah,
So.
yeah, I agree with that full-heartedly. Okay, the next one I have here is another promo. Okay, and I have to give a big shout out to Brittany. I don't you've seen Brittany in the chat. Brittany's a great friend. We've done a couple box breaks and stuff. She's opened from some of her first boxes of Marvel. And she's a female collector that collects Rogue. But yes, I was able to get a promo card. I'm going to show you. You probably have seen them before, but I'm going to show you the back first.
Oh, yep.
So these bigger promo cards here, right? And this one has Spider-Woman and Spider-Man right on the front of it there.
The art on those is phenomenal.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the Spider-Woman just is amazing. I love it.
I want to say there were 6 in the series, I think.
This one says it's set 2, right? There must have been one set, 2 sets. Set 1 and set 2. But there probably was. I'm not positive. You probably know a little bit more than me, but Alex Ross, man, that's where you get that most amazing art there.
So now, is that the only one you have from that set?
This is the only one. Yes. Yeah.
Let's talk after. I have a few extras, and I'll send you over my extras to help you get towards that set goal.
Yeah. Let's definitely talk about that later. Okay.
Write myself a note there. Excellent.
All right. Okay. What else do you got?
All right. So this is where my screen name that I changed really comes in. So I I have officially thrown my name into the character collecting ring with Danny, who you saw for the sketch cards. And normally I'm only sketch, but I've decided I'm going to basically get her non-sketch cards. But true to my OCD name, I'm not just getting the cards where she's like, it's Danny Moonstar and she's the star of the card. I'm sort of taking the Norrin Rad sketch
Norrin
card.
Rad, if it's a finger or a hand.
That's pretty much it. Or even if the name is on it. And
Oh god.
I'll give you probably the most brutal example so far, because this was not a cheap card. So this is from MM16. So this is the Magic What If. This is actually the black plate.
Yeah.
And Danny is one of the heads up here in the color box. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Now you showed that on Sketch Card Hive's video, right?
Yes.
Nice. That is cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah. It's actually caused me to think about reconsidering whether I want to keep doing that, because it's a crazy rabbit hole, to say the least.
And I wanted to give you a welcome to character collecting speech, but I didn't know exactly how to approach it, but I just want to say welcome to the wonderful world of character collecting. At least you don't have Wolverine.
Oh my god. I couldn't. No. Just no. Oh my god.
Now me, just to kind of explain a little bit about my character collecting. I am selective. I don't have to collect everything, and I won't collect everything. But if something does come up I don't have, and it's like really I can't pass up because it's $1 or something, I mean, yes, I'm gonna pick it up. But for some reason or another, I'm more focused on what art and design I like.
But that's the smart way to do it, right? That's why I envy you. The only saving grace I have is that so far my checklist is under 200, which is obviously a huge number, but compared to a Wolverine, which would be in the thousands for sure. My god.
Yeah. So, well, and I've had that hurtful pain. I've had that hurtful pain pretty close on some cards that I've paid for, but at the same time I have sold in the hobby as well. So it's a combination of what I have picked up. I have been able to fuel it with the hobby. So it's nice.
Again, another way to do it. If you can avoid spending your savings and just re-roll everything. Absolutely.
Yep.
This is an interesting one I picked up. So my other passion besides sketch cards and spending too much money is comic cuts. And X-Men Metal and Spider-Man Metal both had some amazing cuts. And I actually stumbled across this one from X-Men Metal. So I've actually used a little painter's tape to hold it together, because it's actually a sequential puzzle.
Oh, wow.
So that is always kind of cool when you get the two that you can put side by side like that.
Yeah.
So I was pretty happy with it.
That Wolverine, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. I do want to say that I'm jealous of a lot of, well, not a lot, maybe probably a lot. all the sketch cards that have been Wolverine that you've shown have been fire, and I'm just like,
I think it's Wolverine seems to bring out the best in a lot of artists too. I think because he's so fun.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, I got a couple things here.
All right.
These right here. are did I already showed these pins?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That's not where I was gonna go.
While you're looking, I'm gonna get
Yeah.
something that's right over here.
Get it. Where is? I had a couple more cards, but I think I left them upstairs. So, all right, guys, what's been going on in chat here? Anybody in here that, let's see, I couldn't collect Ghost Rider and Cable like that. Yeah, I'd have to say that I do have. So, to go back to when I started in back again in 2021, when I started back collecting, I started collecting Deadpool, Venom, Wolverine. I was collecting some banger ones, right? Like that's just what I was gonna be character collecting. I'm gonna character collect 5 people. I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. And so after a while it just became more Wolverine and only Wolverine, and then it's like I need to sell this Venom to get this Wolverine and all that jazz. So it's kind of where I'm at. So the only other character that I collect is Spider-Woman. So
nice.
Yeah.
The Jessica Drew
version, the one that is only the classic, and I will collect the newer modern black and yellow and red. If you've seen that version on the comics, but not the who is that Corazon,
Anya Corazon.
Yeah, Anya, not her, not Spider-Girl, not Gwen. It's only the Spider-Woman classic. So
I'm gonna, because is she now Arachne? Is that her new name?
You're talking about Jessica Drew?
Jessica.
Yeah. But I still have hopes that the multiverse will just bring the classic red and yellow, and I'm good, right? So, but
I've got one.
Before you do that, I the last thing I want to say is I think everybody should. I mean, if they're already character collecting a woman character, a girl, a woman in Marvel, then that's fine. That's cool. Just stay with that or whatever. But I always thought if you had a male version character, you need a female too. And so at first I started with Psylocke. So I had a whole span of Psylocke cards, and I still do have some really bangers. Like I got some that are numbered to 10. And nice. So really good ones that I am going to sell and trade to my Spider-Woman. So
nice. Well, that'll work into your advantage because Psylocke is definitely got some big people gunning for her. That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
So not a new one, but since he's here, I don't have many Lizard sketch cards, but this one is definitely my favorite. So this one's for Kellen.
Yeah.
So this is from the 2008 Spider-Man archive set. This is by Andy Price.
Oh, that is cool.
This is it's painted. He's actually is that lacquer? Is that what you seal it with? Whatever the word is that you seal it with. Got that nice glossy finish.
I can see the shine on it.
Yeah, it's very cool. So.
That's a nice one. And who did you say the artist was?
Andy Price. He's out of sketch cards now. He and Katie Cook, who I showed earlier with the Nightcrawler, they both do work now on the My Little Pony comics.
Okay.
If you ever go to a convention and you want to meet them, get in line. The lines for those two, like I had no idea My Little Pony, or MLP, as some people told me, was so incredibly popular. Like you easily 30, 40 people deep those lines.
Really?
Yeah, super impressive. I think when I went to New York Comic Con at the time, only Peach had a bigger line when I was there.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
All right, I got one more thing here. I think I had some Garbage Pail Kid cards that
Oh, nice.
Wolverine cards, right? I already had some of the Wolverines. One that he's like getting snot or something. I can't remember what that one's called, but I picked up 2 other sets, but I just don't have them. I don't know where they are. So it's like, once you get them, like if you open them up and set them somewhere, you could set them somewhere and then you set something else on them, and that's just kind of probably where it's at. So
Really? What's that like?
I don't know. All right, but that's this right here. I got 3 pins, and these pins on the side are from 1988. These pins are. There's one.
Nice.
Wolverine. And I have to call out Miles, or our Submariner character collector Miles, on this for putting me on these dang pins. As Norin would say, UB.
I was gonna say, you calling him out in a good way or a get off my lawn kind of way, right?
Well, he sent me links and stuff to cards that I don't have that I was able to pick up, including like some of those premier patches, from 2012. Like they're like really nice patch cards. Just amazing. But he put me on these little pins and I got hooked. So I've been picking up some of these Marvel pins. So don't look up Danny Moonstar pin, okay?
Oh, that's all I need. They're super vibrant too. Like they look like comic scenes, but they seem like they're so much brighter than a comic page.
Yeah, they have some deep color, and I don't know exactly what they do on the actual pin, but it's really shiny once it gets outside the packaging too. But I haven't really opened them from the packaging when I get them, except for the ones that are loose. So pretty cool. I like it.
Now, did you ever have pins on either like the backpack or the jacket when you were younger?
No. Which was no. I haven't. My kids do that. Some of my kids do that, but I wasn't one to do that. I did whatchamacallit, I actually had my mom like iron on patches and stuff on some of my backpacks. Cool. So like I think I had a Ghostbusters one and on one of my backpacks, and I had a Gears of War I have a Gears of War patch that I got later on. I'm a gamer and stuff and Xbox, so I've played a fair amount of Call of Duties and all that stuff too. So
yeah, I'm a gamer, but mine are almost always like single player. Like my kids when they were younger would invite me over to play Call of Duty when they wanted an easy kill.
Oh yeah.
My Twitch speed is on the low side. Let's put it that way.
Oh no.
So, but if I can keep track of 50 quests in a game and run across the world, I'm good.
Yeah. Nice. Well, do you have anything else, or is that about it?
I can show one more. I'll show one more cut I picked up. Just kind of a cool one, not mutant at all, but this is from the Marvel 75th anniversary set. They did cuts from Bronze Age, Silver Age, and Golden Age. So this is one from Bronze Age, a little Hulk versus Thing battle. I thought that was kind of cool. Yep. From Avengers 93, which I wouldn't have thought would be Bronze Age, but apparently it is.
And that's a comic cut or a sketch? What is it?
That's a cut.
Oh wow.
Yep. So these ones, these were, I think, the third cuts Rittenhouse did. They did some oversized ones in Complete Avengers. They did the comic cuts in Avengers the Silver Age, which were right around the same time as this, 2015. And then they did these ones. But these ones had a really thin border, just a lot of space for the cut, which was really nice.
Yeah, no, those look nice.
Yeah,
for sure.
I got one or two.
Yeah, cool. Is it echoey on your side? It got echoey somehow. See,
I don't hear it
see
on
if I
my
can
side, so it
check
could
some
be
noise
me.
canceling on here. Hold on. Go on. Echo canceling. Oh, that's smart. All right. No echo anymore. That's weird. Okay, I think that's it for me. Other than I couldn't find my garbage pail kid Wolverine cards, but that's okay.
And are they? Do you ever do GPK sketch cards?
I haven't found one that would be like justification for me to buy. Like I've seen some for sale and all that stuff, and they just haven't been characters I've been like, I'd probably pass that up. But I've seen them. I saw Norin's Silver Surfer one. Or it's not, he has his printing plate. Right. But I've seen the actual sketch cards. They look cool. Do you have any?
No. I was very tempted. I'm getting some Marvel APs right now from Jason Crosby, who's
Okay.
been doing a lot of the recent Garbage Pail comics,
Okay.
and I absolutely considered it, but I'm like, do I really want to go down that rabbit hole? Because once I get one, all bets are off.
I
You
know,
know what?
right?
I'm gonna stick with. I have my two sets. I'm down to two now. Middle Earth and Marvel. Let's stay there. Keep it as safe as possible.
Well, so on my Marvel Bros show a bit back, I showed a gentleman that does. He actually does. He's done GPK for quite some time, and how I found him was my boy Brian, Amazing Spider Guy.
Mhm.
Brian. He actually had a couple fantasy 15 remake covers done with Spider Woman in it, right?
Oh,
And he also had one done of you know what was it, Boba Fett and Mandalorian as well. And it's that same type of pose, that Spider-Man is doing in Amazing Fantasy, pulling that villain or whatever, or pulling Peter Parker, right? Holding him up and everything like that. That's
yeah, with him swinging,
yeah,
carrying the
yeah.
guy.
Correct. Yeah. But that's what I showed his a while back on a stream, but
It's just sort of kind of crossing over the IPs or a
yeah.
mashup, I guess.
Well, yeah, correct. And it so happens that he does Marvel stuff. He does Star Wars stuff too. And he's actually it's a unique situation that I found out. Did you know that comic book artists that are with CGC, so they're authorized with CGC,
Hmm.
they can actually get a blank cover, put anything on it, and they can sign it, and CGC will actually do the yellow label on it.
Because they've somehow it's almost sounds like that TSA pre-approval at the airport, right? They've got the fast lane through CGC. That's interesting. That's kind of cool.
But it's cool that you can commission
Yeah.
this actual comic cover, and you can buy these blank comic covers, have this person commission that's actually authorized to do it through CGC, sign it, and then you can send it to then they send it to CGC for you, paying the fees and all that stuff, and you get a yellow label back. And what was crazy is I found out Ash Gonzalez could do this.
Oh wow.
So
I'm trying to decide if CGC should, obviously they should bring more artists in, but do they do it for free or do they charge the artist? Because that could bring a lot of business to an artist,
so
right? Knowing you could do
yeah,
that.
I know there's a fee because Brian Amazing Spider Guy, when he had that Amazing Fantasy cover done of Spider Woman and Spider Man, that cover he actually had done, and the process of him getting it pressed by his presser, then sending it to the artist. The artist does what he did, And then I can't remember if it went back to the presser or if it just went straight to CGC, but it went straight to CGC. And when it comes back, it's going to be a yellow label, hoping that it's going to be like a 9.8 or, whatnot. So
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it was pretty amazing the way that he explained it. And then I'm just like, man. And so I picked up an amazing Final Fantasy 15 and I have some ideas. I just haven't reached out to him yet.
Sometimes that's a problem when you only have one, right? And all the ideas are in your head. Like, which direction do we go here?
Yeah. Oh, Brittany's on. I want to show her this real quick and thank her for it.
Yeah.
So, Brittany, I did receive this promo of Spider-Woman. Thank you so much. Again, we have some trades in the works, and definitely I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Big shout out to Brittany on that one. So thank you.
This might horrify people to see that I have a whole bunch of oversized sketches just sitting in a bin.
Oh, oversized sketches are a weakness for me.
I just saw William's comment in there that he's getting an Ariel sketch. And
okay.
If you recall, I have a few kicking in here.
I'm getting an Ariel Mamani sketch done of Ghost Rider. Can't wait. Nice. That is awesome.
Ariel does fantastic work. There it is. So I got this one from Ariel.
Okay, cool.
Right. Little Hellstrom, Damien Hellstrom. So William, you will not be disappointed. Ariel does great work and is a great guy.
Okay, I forgot. I do have one more. And then we can start another discussion. So, in a few weeks, I am gonna have another artist on Marvel Bros, and it's gonna be Rhiannon Owens.
Awesome.
And I was able to reach out to her when she was she said she had some blanks. Okay, and I'm gonna show you right here. This is the blanks I'm talking about, the MCCW blanks. And Rhiannon Owens was showing some, and she had specific characters drawn, and she's like, oh, these are up for grabs, and people were claiming left and right. There was a Wolverine there. I was like, oh, and then it was taken. I'm just like, and so I was like, oh, I want the next Wolverine. She's like, oh, I can do one for you. I'm like, oh, great. But this one I was able to actually kind of ask her what to do for it and all that. So I'm pretty excited to show this. This is the first time I'm revealing it. Those who follow her probably have seen it already, though. So here we go. Right there.
Oh, nice.
So
I like that costume too.
I know we can't do a lot of the time. You don't see blood and Wolverine, but she was able to do that on this because of the stock. So awesome. I'm pretty excited and happy to get that. And that was awesome to see. So
that is sort of the beauty of, unofficial or personal sketch cards.
Yeah.
You can get around those character and licensing restrictions.
Well, and what I said, she's like, what suit do you want? Is what she asked me at first. She's like, what suit do you want? I'm like, well, I don't want yellow, or I see yellow and blue all the time. I see brown and yellow suit all the time. Can you do X-Force Wolverine? And she's all like, X-Force Wolverine. I'm like, oh, the gray and black. Oh, she's like, yeah. And what's funny is she showed me, I wish I could bring it up. I don't know if I can or not. But she showed me an X-23 she did for Jake back in the UK, right? If you've seen that one, this actually almost completely matches up with the X-23 one. It's pretty sweet. And she pretty much made the twins, so it was pretty cool. It didn't have blood; it had some other design. But I asked for. She's like, I bloodied it up for you, pretty good. I'm like, yes. So it was pretty awesome. So thanks, Rhiannon, and I'm looking forward to having you on in a couple weeks. So that's awesome. So cool.
Love it.
So I did have a sketch card.
Always need a sketch card.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, all right, should we bust into this?
Yeah. And chat, as we're talking about this, it would be great to get your feedback as we're talking, because this is, I think it can go a lot deeper than just the two of us conversing about
Yeah,
this.
it's we welcome a discussion. So if you have any input or any other ideas, please feel free. I mean, this is obviously not the religion of this. This is just me and Matt's perspective and opinions on it. So yeah,
I mean, the high level thesis or topic is this, right? Is it's very challenging, especially in this day and age, and we don't really want to get too off topic onto that, to effectively communicate in forums, in chats, with the written word, with anything that's has even the hint of um, discontent or any sort of, even if it's just a minor correction, as opposed to, and just open for interpretation or misinterpretation specifically, as opposed to even something like this where we can see each other and we can hear each other and hear our inflections, see our body language, and obviously with my perspective, maybe not everyone knows this, so I'll just do a quick um, mention of it. So I am one of the admins for the Marvel Card Collectors Worldwide group, so I see this a lot in people communicating with each other, with myself communicating with people communicating with me, because that forum is almost entirely text based. There's
yeah,
probably 40 to 50 posts a day, with everything from "Hi, I'm new here." You would hope that's not contentious, to "I'm selling this." Sometimes that can get hairy. And then, God forbid, anyone mentions the three letters PMG in a post, because then it's all bets are off, right?
yeah.
And, part of what we want to talk about is, are there any, how do you stop that, right? How do you, to quote Ted Lasso, how do you approach things with curiosity versus sort of assuming the worst? Um, and that's where we're going to go from there.
That's right.
It's a very simple, minor topic,
Well, and I want to add to that, as far as groups are concerned, and we'll talk about this, but Facebook in general, just with things that happen in life with families, some families have arguments because of little posts that happen on Facebook. And so it's just one of those things that someone's post can be taken so differently because you're not getting the full, you know, body language. You're not getting the full perspective of tone of voice, and all of that. And you can do as much as you can with emojis, but that's still not gonna, you know, fathom or compare to a live discussion just like this. So that's kind of why me and Matt wanted to do this together and be able to have this opportunity to have this discussion is to just prove to you that face-to-face conversation is typically better than something that is just written um, on a post. So
Yeah, I mean, and there's so many sort of ways to go about it. And the first one, again, this, I'm sure this is going to go all over the place because this isn't scripted. This is a sort of thinking of it on the fly. I'm just
all
trying to
good.
think of recent things. Um, the first thing that comes to mind, and this is, if God forbid I had to type this, because this is one that when I say it, think about how this would look written and how this could be said, right? So my first thing I would say is, when someone posts something, just because you have an opinion on it doesn't mean you have to share it, right? It doesn't mean you have to engage, right? And I think with Facebook in particular, once something's out there that's got even a little controversy, for whatever reason, we just and this is I'm in here. I am not
I am
saying
too. I am guilty.
it's so easy
guilty
to
as charged.
just be like, oh, I have an opinion on that. Let me just quickly shoot a reply.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's that quickly that gets you, right? Because it's knee-jerk reaction. And like I was saying, imagine if I wrote, just because you have an opinion doesn't mean you have to reply, right? If you couldn't see the way I'm sort of saying it and including myself, you're like, what a jerk. Who's he think he is,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
So right off the bat, we see a perfect example of,
Correct.
yeah, that would be a bad one.
Yeah. Well, and just in the tone of someone's voice, you could take totally different. You could say, "Well, I don't like that comment," or, "Well, I don't like that comment." Like there's two different ways that you can go, and that's really what is crazy about this whole thing. So
Yeah. Which funny though, with that we could be like, and there it is, and okay, we're done, right?
yeah, no,
It's like, listen, ask for tone, ask for clarification. And that's actually something I've only recently seen it done once, where someone said, but even sort of the way they said it was a bit of a zinger. Someone made a comment, and the response was, "I'm not sure if you're being an ass or not, but on the assumption that you're not, here's the answer."
Yeah.
Right? But again, I knew that person, and I knew it was like a little joke, right? But I was like, "Ooh, I hope that person doesn't take it the wrong way," kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why don't I go into, we'll just, until chat has some comments.
Yeah.
I see it a lot in MCCW, and the biggest challenge I have had for the however long I've been modding in there is trying to find the time to think through responses, right? And this isn't unique to me, for all of us, right? It's hard. Like, our time is limited. This is a place we want to have fun. So sometimes it's very easy to say, okay, I read something, I have a negative reaction, here's how I'm going to respond, and then enter. And what I have tried to do, and I still don't always succeed, but I type up my response, and then I sit back for a second, and I do this, and I read it. And I read it as if someone else wrote it. And I try to decide, is there anything in this that can be interpreted in a way that I don't mean to, right? And that's not perfect, right? Because it's still your voice, and you're still going to read it sort of the way you intended. But I think sometimes if you take that extra 10 seconds to reread it,
Yeah.
and just yourself, is there anything in here that's basically throwing gasoline on a fire? And I have, most of the time recently, I have found that it's when I'm trying to make a joke, and then I look at it, I'm like, I can see that just falling flat if someone can't see me and can't see that inflection. So I tried to take something like that out. And yeah, Armando, that would solve the problem. So you just said that.
And before you get to Armando's comment, Jordan actually brings up a really good point, because with Matt talking about this, there are multiple levels of this type of communication, right? You have posts, you can call someone on the phone, or you can have a video chat with someone that you actually not only can hear the voice, but you can see their reactions to things too. And so that's a really good point, Jordan. And Armando, your point as far as that goes with being able to avoid conversations, or just if you have an opinion, just be quiet. I do that a lot. because sometimes I don't. And then it bites me in the face right after. Like it just like, oh crap, maybe shouldn't have went that far. Well, I shouldn't have said that. And so I usually just like cut it off and I don't do anything more. And I just let it play out.
And even that, so that comment is a great comment, but what's interesting is depending on who says it, right? Sometimes the mods have put that in there when there's bickering, and we'll
Yeah.
say, if you don't like it, keep scrolling. But the problem is when you say that in the middle of an argument, someone is going to take that as aimed at them, right? So even something that's the actual way it should be handled, you say it and they can't see you, and that just snowballs. It's just,
Yep.
it's fascinating how quickly some of these, what start out as completely innocuous conversations, can
Yeah.
turn into an actual
Correct.
poo show.
No, for sure.
I
Shit
can't
show.
remember what the language was.
It's
So
a
I'm gonna
shit show. So Nathan brings up written text, yep, intent, all of that stuff, right? Um, and I agree with everything. So let's look at some comments here. I'm going to say is uplifting and beneficial. Okay. I have to ask myself, is it worth saying? Sure, for sure. I've seen people, okay. I've seen people in this hobby post stuff and they get maybe shunned from the group or they get shunned because they said something about somebody, but really they were saying something out of that pure spite reaction to something that you should have just kept for yourself before. And they've came back and apologized. And I've seen the whole story reaction, right? Where they say something, they're sorry that they said something about somebody, they come back, they apologize, and then you kind of sometimes see it over again. Like, and so it's just like, okay, we gotta get this under control, right? Because I really want the MCCW to keep staying a positive group because it's a good thing, right? Now, I after a couple posts that I did recently, I think I'm gonna be staying silent for a while. Like I'm just like, I think I get to the point where I can't have that one-on-one or that video conversation, and I feel better on YouTube and with some people that actually do content with and talking about this stuff that I really am passionate about. I'd rather do that on video to show my true expression and my true passion behind it. I will post things on Instagram. I will post my cards on Instagram, be excited and everything like that. But when it comes to someone's opinion about, oh, should I grade this card? Or this card right here is I don't know if I would grade that card, like, and just it goes off, right?
There are days, so I must during the day refresh every 10 minutes or so. I probably spend 3 to 4 hours a day
Some
sort
men
of.
just want to watch the world burn. Yes, possibly.
That's that's so true though, and there are times when I see a post like you just said. There are certain keywords that just make me almost cry, right? And if it's about grading or which grading, God forbid, which grading company to use,
Yeah.
or yeah, if the three dirty letters are in a post, there's just certain topics where it's like it's an innocuous topic, but in my head I'm like, oh, this is gonna just go sideways
Okay,
if
I'm
there.
a little lost with William Johnson's comment. It's just like character collecting in Marvel. Do you get that? I'm trying
Is
to.
there anything before we maybe missed?
Mm,
Oh, I think the biggest thing is, yeah, he's got one up a little bit before. People need to be open minded. Everyone is going to have their own opinions, just like we each have our own favorite characters.
Oh, okay. That I get that now. Okay, all right.
That brings up an interesting point that I would recommend to people too, because I saw something just like that. Facebook is awful with the way it threads replies. And I saw a post yesterday where someone made a comment, someone responded, and then at the end of the comment agreed with what that person just said. But there was a comment before that they made that was completely unrelated to something. And the first person thought that response was to this. So they went off the rails, you know what I mean? And it kept snowballing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would also say take the time to maybe scroll back a few and be like, is this a response to me or is it, because yeah, Facebook is just terrible at that. And I've seen plenty of examples where people think a comment is to them and it's really responding to someone else.
And I love where this discussion's going. I love just the flow of this. I want to kind of give a shout out to someone right now. So I don't know if you've actually corresponded or communicated with 9.9 Newsstand, the co-host of Spidey Hits Marvel show. So Manu, 9.9 Newsstand, he does something pretty unique that a lot of people don't. When he communicates to you on Instagram, 90% of the time it's voice notes, which actually is a pretty smart idea in the fact that if you want to communicate all your tones and all your voice fluctuations and all that stuff and really what you mean and care about, do that, because that actually says a lot more and you can get a lot more out of it in that. And I feel that that's heartfelt when he does it as well. And so I think it's a great idea that he has. I think more of us should actually do that when we maybe like try to respond to someone on Instagram and all that stuff, that they have that voice notes. I'm pretty sure Facebook has voice notes too, doesn't they?
In Messenger, yes. Yep.
Yeah, in Messenger. So I just feel that that's a really good idea to complement a post. If you had something to say, let's say you posted something. You're like, you know what? I don't know if that really came out that way and it was directed to that guy. Let me shoot him a message real quick and just say, hey, that last message, I didn't really mean it that way. This is how I meant it. And just change the tone of what you're trying to do. And I think that will alleviate a lot of things.
Yep.
It's a good idea.
Brittany also nailed it too. It's easier than typing too.
Right? Oh yeah, for sure.
Added bonus.
And plus, a lot of us are on the go and all that stuff. Like I'm in the car a lot. So I do voice notes quite a bit too, but I usually do the voice to text, right? But I think voice notes are a banger idea. So pretty cool.
Yeah, and we could go on a whole other tangent here, but I liked your comment because I think it's something a lot of people, I don't know if it's society or this what it is, but a lot of people don't take the time to have that self-reflection that you just talked about, to say, maybe that didn't come out the right way, and to take that actual initiative to reach out to someone and say, hey, I just wanted you to know, I hope you don't think I'm mad or whatever it is, because maybe you interpreted this. Like, if more people did that, my God, everything would be, forget cards, the world would just be better, right? Good Lord. Oh, sorry. Yeah, wow.
Well, and I want to say that, like, every single one of us are guilty of something at one point or another in a post, like that we either took a little harder stance than they should have, or we could have not said something about someone about a specific card they were doing because they were thinking positive and you thought negative. Like, and I've done it, and it's what I'll say cancer to a group, or it's cancer to a hobby, is when something is always negative like that. That's kind of what I wanted to bring up too, Matt, is
Sure.
the MCCW as of recent, meaning as of the last year or so, seems like it's gotten a lot more negatives than positive.
Yeah,
And
I can't argue. Um, I'll, I I might I'll agree with the first part that definitely has been more negative. I
yeah.
don't know necessarily that I would agree that it's more negative than positive, but I absolutely see your point about
Well, when I
an
say no more
increase in
negative than
negativity.
positive, probably not, because I see a lot of posts that are positive, right? I see a lot of things that people show, but what do we usually focus on?
Yep. Yeah. What exactly? What gets the most comments? Yep. There's
Yeah,
no question. It's the drama.
yeah.
And I read something recently. I wish I mentioned this to someone earlier and I spent a couple of minutes and I couldn't find it. But if anyone in chat knows what I'm talking about or has heard the same, please bring it up if you know. Um, that someone told me that there's an inflection point with a group, not necessarily just a Facebook group, just any kind of social group. And that somewhere around 4, 5, 6,000 members, there's this inflection point where problems tend to form. You tend to get more clicks, whether that be old school versus new, whatever they sort of rally around.
Marvel Card
Um,
Illuminati. I'm just kidding. Sorry.
I, no, hey, that's a fascinating. I mean, I would love a show just on is there such a thing,
Yeah,
and
right.
sides, but um, yeah, it's again, I see every post and I have to read every post as part of my role, and so do the
Yeah,
mods, and we've seen it and we discuss it, and the one of the challenges with that is right. I mean, there are certain ways you could handle that, right? You could take the authoritarian, heavy handed approach and say, hey, I've noticed a lot of the negative posts seem to have you in it, addition by subtraction, goodbye. That's not sort of how we want to do it.
yeah.
Um, and that does, let's be honest, that has some benefits because you can certainly remove some negative influences that way.
Derpa
But
derpa do. This is a great comment that I want to put up here. This is something that, yes, we all strive for. I think
yep,
everybody wants people to get along, right? But not everybody is on board with that, it seems. And
yeah,
so, because of that, there will be those negative Nellies. It's always going to
yep,
be that way. You can't actually have good without bad. It wouldn't be a society, I guess.
yeah. And so the challenge with a group like that, and I can only speak to MCCW, is that we really don't want it to be about us having to make any sort of a judgment or opinion on what someone's intent was or what they said. We really do try to take a very, I hate to use this word, but almost like a bureaucratic approach in that, okay, these literally are the rules of the group.
Yeah.
Did what happened violate one of those?
You have to
If
look at the
yes,
facts, right? You have to
yeah,
look at the facts first.
if yes,
Feelings
we read it.
aside. Yeah.
If no, maybe we'll put a comment that says, hey, maybe we should look at it this way, but we really try not to sort of add color to what was said to try to fit it in a violation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
None of us are there because we want to do that. In fact, I can, I'll only speak for myself. I strongly dislike doing that. Being authoritarian is not my personality at all. If I had unlimited time, anytime someone made a
What's up,
post that was
Azza?
any sort of issue, I would say, hey, let's talk about it. Let's do that.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest challenge for me is there just isn't that much time. Like I said, I'm probably 3 or 4 hours a day. So to get through all of these issues, sometimes I just have to, sometimes we just, you know what, it's easier to just, all right, you know what, you post only 4 lines. We're just going to delete it, send you a quick comment, and you can repost it. Other times we'll try to send a message and say, hey, can you do this? And
Yeah.
then I send a few of those. I'm like, hey, you're a new member. You didn't say anything about, like, a lot of big one we have is you have to PayPal goods and services and you have to be willing to ship worldwide. So a lot of times I'll post it as a reply and say, hey, just so you know, can you please do this for me? And
Correct.
I'll usually 2 hours. And if they do it, I just delete my comment. That way I'm not cluttering up their thread. It's like, thumbs up, thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
And the good news is most people do that, but it is just a balancing act of just time
I'm
and how
sure.
many just eyeballs we have. So we definitely do strive for that, but because we don't want to take that heavy-handed approach, it's it's probably not helping that issue. And I would
Well,
say,
there's the
but
thing though. It's really draining for you admins on a basis that if something like, let's say you just got through kind of trying to play mediator and try to figure out how to, make it a happy medium for both parties and all that. And then there's another thing that comes up. You're like, oh, what is this about? And it's draining to the point where it's a proven draining factor because we see Ian started this group. He had been the greatest admin known to man, because he was the first, he was just always there. But it was so draining to him that he stepped away for a while. He had you guys step up and be able to help and everything like that, because some of this got out of hand and some of it can get out of hand. And so you do have to kind of be put in that type of shoes, in the fact that, okay, if I was an admin and I was getting all this stuff, you have to realize you're getting a lot of stuff, even though you may not agree with what they say right off the bat. Like Matt says, some of the things that he says right off the bat, okay, maybe I shouldn't have said that because this is a post and not everybody's going to get what I'm trying to say because they can't get my voice, so
absolutely a challenge. I mean, to the point where, again, and this is not. I don't want this to be like, oh, us poor admins. Well, that's not what this is
no,
about.
no, no,
Um,
no.
but what is interesting, and this is something a few months ago I never would have guessed, which is that because I think I'm faking it pretty good here, but I am actually a introvert big time. Like, this talking on camera and putting my face out there is completely outside of my comfort zone. But I am having more fun with these conversations live than I am posting stuff, even like sharing my cards, because it just feels more human.
Yeah.
And that's not a slight on the group. That's social media in general. And I think this particular piece of social media has, for me, again, surprisingly to me, but become where I get a lot more enjoyment in the hobby.
Well, it's like
And
what we talked about. It's the interaction.
yeah,
I can see all your expressions, Matt, and it's great. Like I showed you that sketch, and before you even said anything about it, I saw your whole reaction and the way that you looked, to that sketch. And it's just like having that and communicating like that, that is gratification. That is something that makes you happy. That's something that is important in this hobby.
right. Whereas if you posted that online, what would you have seen as my reaction? Like,
Yeah.
right? Oh yeah,
Great
right.
Wolverine sketch.
Exactly. Or little flames. Oh boy,
Yeah. No, for
So
sure. For sure. So
um, yeah, and so you know, there's a bunch of different ways to combat
you're
it, right?
appreciated, Matt. Look at that.
Thanks, LTZ. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a video that someday soon I'm probably going to post that just sort of sums up the mornings one day. So keep an eye out. I've got a humorous post just pending.
Okay.
Um, Yeah, I mean, so how do you? I guess the next question is, how do we combat it, right? Burn. I hope burning down MCCW isn't the answer, right? I hope
Yeah.
there are ways to help to, I'll say, alleviate, because the reality is, I mean, our this is just a messed up time in history, right? Everything's contentious these days, so it's not surprising that we face that in this group. So
Reverted back
I think
to hieroglyphics. This is an updated version.
exactly, you're
That's a
right.
good one. It's a good one, Britt.
Right, we all get human ones. So it's what's the circle, the colon, and the P, right? Am I really supposed to go right? Nobody screenshot that. Do not.
Yeah.
No,
No,
no. Bad
no,
chat.
don't do
Bad
that.
chat. Um,
Uh,
yeah, no, I agree, Derpa.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
fighting like we've. Oh my God, I could tell you all sorts of stuff about that. Just we've had to turn off events because people figured out you could do event spam. Like they're
Mhm.
always one step ahead of you. So just that aspect is ridiculous.
Sure.
Um,
Well,
but
and
yeah,
I, I just with this whole conversation, we could talk all night, really. But
you're right.
I, I just think that on a positive note, like you just said, how do we combat it? How do we combat this? How do we make things better? Um, ideas that I've had was what I explained about Manu, 9.9 newsstand, doing voice notes. I mean, that is just the most amazing thing to do, is to give somebody a actual voice reaction to something. Like, it's just something that I feel we need to probably implement more. Um, and I don't know. I know on Facebook, right? With videos, you could do Facebook videos and all that stuff. So maybe even someone mentioned something. I think it was JL Warner mentioned that he used to do videos on MCCW every week. And it was just like, I can't remember what they talked about, but it was just something that they did every week to, it was during COVID and everything that they did these videos to express more of an interaction, right?
Yeah,
And that's kind of why what we've talked about here is YouTube videos, YouTube, having these on YouTube, and having these discussions and having interaction in the chat is something that is great. It's healthy. It's something that I think more content creators, as they come out of the woodworks, just like Matt was probably one of the biggest introverts, like he just said, but he started a YouTube channel. Why? Not to get like a billion followers. He started it for himself because it made him happy, and that's really what it came down to me. Is that as well? So yeah, I just like to share
yeah.
my
No,
passion.
I
That's
was
what I
just
want
actually looking, and it would be a nice feature if you could kind of put a video or an audio clip. I think that would be the easiest. You can attach a video, but you would need to go and make it somewhere else, unfortunately, and then upload it at least within the thread. But I like your idea that if it's something that's worth saying, does it necessarily need to be public? Could you go to Messenger and just send a quick message, especially if it's something you intend to be encouraging, right?
to. Yeah.
And who knows, you might find your next friend that way, right? You send them a message and all of a sudden the doors open, and hey, now you're chatting, and because ultimately that's you know, I mean, obviously, I love cards and all, but and again, not to sound, not to be overly Ted Lasso here, but these conversations you have and the people you meet, that's where the real sort of fun of the hobby is. It's sharing the hobby, right?
You know what
Me
that's
just,
called, Matt?
I don't know what's called.
People over cards.
Yeah.
Because that's what it comes down to. You know, like we're in a hobby to collect cards and we love it. We love the cards. We love it. But without the people and the cards, they're just cards, you know?
And some people, right? And sometimes we sort of negatively call them black hole collectors, but for some people, just having it and sort of loving it themselves, like, that's great for them. But
It
I
is.
discovered about
Yeah.
myself is that's, and again, it sort of surprised me, but that's not what energizes me in the hobby. It's the sharing, and even more so, um, I found I like being a cheerleader for people. Right? I like encouraging people and sharing. Like, I love sketch cards, and I love when people share them, talking about why I love them to help. Say, hey, I love what you're doing. Let's keep going. Let's hear. What did you think about this? And it's just, yeah, it's so much fun.
Well, I like what you said, Matt, as far as talking about how you perceived yourself more of an introvert, that I normally wouldn't be doing this, but you found you found that now doing this actually, hey man, this is actually not that bad. Like this is
No, it's great
actually
actually.
pretty dang fun to do this type of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's I just want to give you props to anybody that is kind of like that introvert. And we've had other content creators like Melfi Collectibles. His name was Silent Collects at one point because he just stayed away in the shadows and everything. And now he's just part of the Marvel Roundtable, and it's just been great for him. And so those who, let me just say, maybe I'll do this. I will challenge people, if they haven't, to jump on a video. Jump on a
Yeah.
video with Matt. Jump on a video with Norn. Jump on a video with myself. Jump on any the Spidey hits. Like jump on a video, and after that video, if you're like, oh, I don't know, but after that video, if you don't feel somewhat pleasured to be able to get on like that, I don't know. Like maybe it's just not for you, but probably 90% of the people that do it, they get straight up enjoyment on it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. What's up? Okay. Sorry. Kid for the night.
You're fine. You're fine.
Um, yeah, and what? One of the things I used to do early on, even before I was a mod in MCCW, is like once a month I would just host a video chat, and literally it wasn't even. It was like, I think it was a messenger chat, so it wasn't even recorded or broadcast, and people could just I'd open it up for 3 hours. People would just stop in and we'd talk cards, and yeah, I sort of miss that because a lot of people who I had never seen before, you know, were in the same place as me, and seeing people talk about their cards. Like, for some of us, I don't know if you're the same way, but for me, I have no one in sort of my real world circle that gets this at all, right? To the point where I don't even mention it to some people because I don't even want to deal with it, right? Because let's be honest, we can collect pieces of cardboard. It's a weird little hobby. Let's not kid ourselves. We're sports cards. That's a little stepbrother or something. But just seeing that passion and sharing it, it's what MCCW strives to be, and I think that it still can be, but we do have to crack that code on how to encourage more positivity. Absolutely, I could not agree with your thesis anymore. um, and I think that's one I would throw out there to the chat. I mean, outside of the scroll on is certainly a good one, but for whatever reason, people choose violence, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
then the question is our best bet trying to figure out how to react with do we react to that with positivity? Do you ignore it? Right? How do you get past that once it's out there without resorting to me saying, "Oh, this is going to be a shit show. Delete," right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I don't want that. Nobody wants that.
Well, and I want to bring up a point that happened to me a while back, right?
Sure.
And it actually lost. I felt like a good collector associate. Like they blocked me, right? Not going to call out any names or anything like that, but what happened was one of our other collector buddies posted something on Instagram. I posted, and what it was is it was a card that was like numbered to 99, right? And it was a character. I posted, "Oh, that's a great card." And just because of the way that sometimes my sarcasm is, my joking is, and all of that, right? If those who know me, I said, "Hey, I actually have his older brother." And it was the same character numbered to 25. So, and the one the one person that saw that, they saw that as a negative comment and said to me, or posted to me, "Hey, you shouldn't do that. This is his post and all this stuff." And I'm just like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. I did not mean it that way." Like, and that's the thing, is like, I didn't mean it that way, but someone took it that way, to the point where it went as far as someone blocking somebody because of the way that someone actually meant it differently than what someone took it. And so I just feel that with sometimes this disconnect, you can't have that with, I feel, with live. Like, it's either you love me or hate me on the live, I guess. But at the same time, I feel that to really get to know somebody, you can't just go off of one post. You can't just go off of that one person, one time thing, right? Multiple times, I'm sure it could, you could see something if it was negative, negative, negative. And there's been people that have done that, and they just I just don't associate myself with some people, right? And that's what you can choose to do. But at the same time, in my mind, I wish that we can all get along, because this is a hobby, right? It's not like it's like a it's not like we're gonna get like, we're not trying to get hierarchy. I don't think we are. Like, we have, the godfathers of Ian and Norin, like you could say, and Matt Fuller now, because like everybody knows Matt Fuller now, so he's the OG. Like, we don't
Better or
want to
worse.
strive for hierarchies. Like, we're not in it to do that. We're really in it to have friends to associate with, to have a common ground. Just like you said, Matt, you don't have a lot of outside friends. Well, I don't have a lot of outside friends, because I'm comic oriented, and people are like, "Oh, comics and cards, what is that all about?" They don't get it. And it's interesting that you bring that up, because I think as long as we are communicating with people of like minds or like culture, we can all get along, if we just kind of sometimes don't act like a third grader.
I think one of the things I have tried to do recently is anytime, like, I've definitely typed up some comments, and I had my finger over the enter button, and I'm like, oh, this is definitely the choose violence, right?
There we
So
go.
I
Marvel Cards Fight Club. There we go.
I have tried to change my approach and to give the benefit of the doubt and go through a private message and say, hey, I saw this, and I think you sort of hinted on this. I Here's how I interpreted it. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't misunderstanding, right? And that does two things. Number one, it opens the door to communication, and I don't want this to sound. This is going to sound like, I'll just say what it is, right? I am trying to put the onus on, it's me that is perhaps misinterpreting, right? So, and I think that makes the conversation easier because it gives that person the opportunity to say, well, yes, actually, you did misinterpret, right? Because you don't want to, in a case like that, you don't want to go into it being accusatory. Again, you're gonna guess I'm in love with Ted Lasso, right? It's be curious and take the time to say, okay, am I reading this wrong? It's dangerous because I've had at least one instance where like, no, you didn't misinterpret that. I think you're an asshat, right? It's like, oh, okay. Well, glad I got that direct.
Well,
Then.
I appreciate that on the other behalf, because of there has been interactions I've had with you personally, right? That it's like, okay, I'll just give you the benefit of the doubt, Marvel Madness, that you meant this, and and it's been, yeah, I'm grateful that you've looked past sometimes in that aspect of things, and that's just kind of what we all probably need to do every once in a while. That's for sure. So just to
I mean, it's hard. It takes time,
yeah.
But again, I think the benefits are well worth it. Again, like you and I have chatted in the past, but since we've actually started talking in this, I'm like, this is a guy I can hang out and have a beer with, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you don't get that sort of otherwise.
Correct.
And again, that's where this fun is in this hobby.
Yeah. So. No, for sure.
Yeah, I like Derpa's comment. That and that.
Yeah, that is something that's cool. Yeah. And okay, let's go on the flip side of what I explained earlier about that Instagram message that I did, right? A guy was showing a card that was great card of 99 and all that stuff. I could have looked at it a little differently from his aspect too. If I were to give that comment, hey, I got his older brother right here. It's like, wait. He just showed a good card, a big card, and then you just come out and say you have something better or something like that, right? And that's not really and truly what I meant by it. It was more of a joke, and knowing kind of that individual when I did what I did. And I messaged him after. I'm like, hey man, just to give you a heads up. I mean, with that, I wasn't meaning. He's like, oh no, you're good, and he meant it. He knew what I was saying, but as far as that other guy, he just took it wrong. And I want to apologize to that guy out there, and I hope you unblock me at some point or another, because I'm not that, negative person that is always gonna trash someone's like comment. Is not what I meant to do that at all. So I just kind of wanted to, I think this is a great conversation to have and a great time to say this to this person. And I hope things will change in the future. So,
nice. I was cracking up because I read ahead in the comments. And some good stuff.
Here we go here. Send envelopes to glitter to people. Gosh, that's a good one there. Oh, I just got my mental image of that Mark Robert glitter. Yeah, Mark Rober. Yeah,
exactly. Instead of glitter, right? You should actually cut up Aunt May cards from Spider-Man Metal.
What's funny is the Mark Rober with all those glitter bombs of people that stole the things off the porches and stuff.
Those are awesome.
He even started putting fart spray in it too.
The alarms and the countdown. Oh my god, he's brutal.
Yeah, those were good.
Well, this could also be its own conversation, right? Its own topic.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mine is different. I get burned out and think of just deleting social media rather than just quitting my cards, because trying to sell everything, I would just the effort. But yes, I think burnout is a real thing, and shout out to MentalCon coming up in a few weeks. I think that's something that we should all absolutely tune into. I know I'm going to do a little section on there as well.
I think there should be like a mental day of the month every month about just stuff that just needs to be said. And because this is kind of like a mental con a bit, as far as just a mental awareness of what is going on with some of the interactions that we've had on Facebook and versus live. I mean, one main thing that Matt, before I came up with Lost in Translation, it was more Matt just said, hey, it'd be pretty interesting to talk about the differences between YouTube Live and a Facebook post, because not all the stuff that is in the written word, as far as in a post, is translated correctly to a one-on-one face-to-face, so.
I mean, and some of those posts, and again, comments, I would love your take on this. One thing we have discussed is it a fair role of the moderators in the group to, like, when do we step in? And by step in, when do we basically say, okay, this has gone from constructive to destructive, and we're simply going to turn off comments, right? I mean, that has some negative drawbacks, right? Because some people would be like, well, someone insulted me and you turned off comments before I could defend myself, right? There's going to be problems with it no matter what, right? When we turn it off, someone's going to get offended. But,
Yeah.
chat, what do you think? Is it, when there is one of those firestorm posts, is it better to just shut it down? Like Spidey had earlier today on one of the channels, someone brought up a topic that he immediately said, listen, with all due respect, this isn't really a comment for a discussion for a card group, so I'm going to ask that we don't talk about it here, right? And so the question is, does it make it better or worse to sort of pull the plug on those? We've, for better or worse, decided that, a lot of these, unless they get really, really personal, we're going to let them run out. And we're definitely always torn on that, right? Because sometimes it rarely gets better. Let's just put it that way, right? Once it's in that death spiral, I can't remember the last one I saw that had a happy ending.
Well, so, and it'd be nice to get to a point, Matt, in the group that people are now wanting to come back that have been gone,
yep.
Or who have been left the group. Like I'll be honest, I've almost left the group a few times. And what's
me too.
What's funny is some of the comments were from you. Some of them were other people.
I mean, we talked about that. Yep.
And that's the thing, is it's just sometimes not the best thing to always just rely on that. And that's why I've always done kind of my own thing on YouTube and Instagram, is because I feel that there's been more of a healthy response and healthy communication being able to do live stuff, because you're able to interact with people and get to know people. Like, some of the best interactions I've had was at card shows in person, right?
Yep.
Like, I was able at Culture Collision, there was probably probably 12 of us at Culture Collision. And when I say that, I mean there was 12 of us that all met up and got together, and Sketch Card Hive, Spidey Hits, the very first time I met them. Some great people, Kent, Marvel Guy 239, and then we had Dallas Card Show. I met Daniel Dunn, and there's just so many good people. Steven Scandell and Stacking Gems. Those who haven't met Charles in person, I know Charles has some off color sometimes posts, right? And sometimes is not the best. And he's always stacking, always talking up cards. Well, you really meet him in person and he's a great guy. And it's that mentality that I would love for people to get back into, that it's okay, these are people that I'm talking to, not just people that are I'm not just talking about words here. Someone's actually behind these words. Someone actually an individual collector like myself. Okay, let's kind of look at the perspective on his side. And that's really where it comes down. And I hope we can get to that point, Matt, on that NCCW group too.
Yeah, a couple of great comments there too.
Let me see here. Love reading the posts for entertainment value. Yeah, no, it can, for sure. It's human nature.
I mean, if there were like 5 words I could just ban in NCCW, right? It would be investing, it would be flipping, it would be PMG,
PMG. PMG.
right? And I'll reserve the last 2, but
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
which is funny because we're all doing the same. I mean, yeah, the investing one always kills me too because, right? You need all sorts of sides for
Well, you know,
LP.
there's flipping is typically okay. It's when you use the word flipper because you're actually then saying that this individual is only a flipper, right?
Yes, that is a great point that you're sort of trying to make them exclusive. And I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, depending on how you do it. I mean, well, I guess some people are black hole collectors and have literally never sold one of their cards, but I mean, most of us have had to sell cards along the way, and you know. Thanks. Yeah, it is tough, and we definitely. I mean, you'll obviously have to take my word for it, but we really do strive to try to be as neutral as we can while following the rules that Ian laid down. And that's really it. I mean, believe me, my personality, I would love nothing more than to discuss every single issue. Like a lot of times, people after an action's taken, um, most people, even if it's one of the other mods, most people message me. When I have time, I'll explain the why. They'll push back. Well, why is this rule here? Well, because this is Ian's group and these are the rules, and they were set up after certain. I think it was a video game trading that rules that worked in the UK, and they worked well for 5 years.
Well, what's funny is if have you ever tried to set up your own Facebook group?
Oh God, no.
No, I'm just saying, like going through because if you went into the Facebook group, right, and you created one, it gives you options just as the MCCW has them listed and has them listed that like that. It has them in there. Like you can actually just pick the ones that you want. So they're already actually all cookie cuttered questions that are up there. And then you can custom some stuff and everything like that as well. But I'm just saying, I created a small group. It's right now it's a small group, but I'd like it to get bigger, and it's the Marvel card collector content creators, right? So it's anybody who has a channel or anybody who wants to do content creation of any sort. I have a group that I've started, haven't done much with at all. I've posted here and there and everything like that, but it's just something that I think if someone does want to go into content creating and have questions, they have a group that they can go to and
Great idea.
ask things about and all that stuff. So it's just something that I think I have like 22 members. I have no clue. But I'm just saying, like it's just something that it's like Spidey Hits. Spidey Hits created a Discord, right? The reason he created this Discord, and I'll be honest, it's probably because the MCCW didn't fit in his forte because of some of the negativity. I hope in the future that changes, but you never know. But Discord, the group that he started, is a great group for beginners. It's a great group for anybody that started collecting or any OGs, and it's been a positive group the Discord has. And it's unique on the Discord. You can make different topics to be able to talk about, not just one topic. I mean, I'm not saying Discord's better than Facebook. I'm just saying that it's a way that you can converse a little differently. Here's about 90s cards. Here's about PMGs, and you can just go into those conversations if you want to talk specifically about those type of things, right?
Oh, yeah. No,
Which
I
is
would say in terms of organizing topics, Discord is better than Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook, literally, with the group, it has just one general channel, and that's it, and you get everything. And you're right, having that ability, like, okay, I frequent the
I didn't
sketch
mean
card.
that. Venom.
I like that comment. That was good. I'm like, oh
Jeez.
wow.
I am
Well,
not
you
trying to
waited an
replace
hour
the
and a half to
FCCW
sneak that
here.
in. That's pretty good. Hey, good night, Derpa.
Okay, good night, buddy. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being with us. So,
Yeah, no, and in some ways that sorting could help certain issues. You know, it's definitely a work in progress. I mean, I would encourage, if you're in MCCW, I mean, the best things I can think of are, number one, obviously, just if you see a fight brewing, just ignore it, or better yet, report it. You can always flag a post, and then we can try to go in and, just keep an eye. Some of them, it's easy because they get so nasty so quickly.
yeah.
It's clearly a violation of sort of the be nice rule, and we can just shut those down. Some of the hardest posts to deal with are the, I guess, the passive aggressives. So, those are a little more challenging. And, I think the key would be sort of what we're talking about: be an ambassador for good.
Yeah.
If you see something and see some negativity, try to sprinkle a little positivity in there. If you feel the need to comment, just think about what you're writing, and make sure you're just not throwing gas onto the fire.
Well, and maybe go a little deeper, and I just want to say this for personal experience. Whenever I've done some sort of interaction other than a post, comment, or anything, like a trade, like someone posts a card and we start talking about a trade, right? Or something. It seems like those conversations are more meaningful when you're actually talking to that individually personally. And then it happens. Let's say the trade happens, because sometimes the trades do. Then you actually become, hey man, I've actually dealt with this guy. He's actually a pretty good guy, like, type of thing. And so it helps on those one-on-one conversations, or abilities to, have two individuals get together and talk. And I don't know, that's kind of where the whole video thing helps too, and being able to get to know you. Like, I've seen a lot of videos with you, Matt, and I'm just like, this guy, I don't know about this guy. I mean, he's got a lot of sketch cards, but what's he all about? Like, I don't know what he's all about, but you're just like, get down to earth, like, great collector that has a passion, and that's all I see is the passion behind it. And some people may see the background and be like, oh man, that's a scary dude, look at all those cards. Like, I don't know if I want to talk to that guy. But no, it's not like that to me, and it's just been great conversation. So
You just reminded me, I forgot to put my filter back on. Like, oh.
I don't think you've had your filter on the whole time, because you had to show your pickups there, right?
Totally. Welcome to my personal shame.
That's right.
The unsorted piles.
He and what's funny is, Matt, you usually get these awesome, like, put your filter back on. I want to just like show people, like, he gets these awesome filters that he's actually like put together, and they're funny because like that's like outside of a Hobbit house, right? Or where
so this one I think is Miyazaki.
Okay. It's not even a Hobbit house.
Yeah. Oh, I do have the Hobbit house, yes.
Like the other day, he was in the Hobbit. There you go.
The problem with this one is it highlights how little hair I have right over on this side.
You know what? If I took my hat off,
I gotta get a hat. That's what I need. I need a hat.
You need a hat like me, or
exactly.
because I try to hide it as much as possible. Some people have seen it, but it's not good nowadays. So,
yeah, I mean, I mean, I guess we've sort of said it all. Like,
I think
I mean,
so.
we all need to do our part to be positive. If we can do it in the Facebook group, great. But if you feel that it's just not the place for you, the great part is there's the Discord channel, there's channels like this, and it's easy. It really is easy to do your own. And speaking as someone who wasn't comfortable, I can assure you that the discomfort of putting yourself out there is worth the rewards that come from it. So I would encourage people wherever you are to just, show who you are, show your passion, and you know what, other people in this hobby will embrace it. You may run into some people who are negative, but you're going to run into that in life too. So just spend your time on those who make you feel good about what you collect.
And
That's my best
please,
advice.
everyone that's subscribed to my channel, go check out OCD Sketch Cards, Matt Fuller. I did put his Instagram in the YouTube down below the comments. So check that out on that info, as well as his link to his YouTube channel, because sometimes it's hard to find YouTube channels. And so I have that link too. And he's got,
And God forbid I named mine the same. I did not do good. I did not do good in my social media setup. I failed that class.
Ooh, it's all good. It's all good. So, but no, great. I think it's been great conversation, Matt, and I appreciate having you on and everything like that. And
Thank you for having me. This has been a lot of fun.
it's been awesome. So, unless anybody else has anything else that they want to talk about, I think we've heard. The last thing was from Derper Derper Do, and that was just a bit ago. That was probably like 10, 15 minutes ago. So, but
I'm on the East Coast too, so I can agree with the pass out sentiment.
yes. Well, that's where they can find you, right, Matt? Is
Absolutely.
they can either go to the MCCW, right?
You'll find me there for sure.
Yep.
Or OCD Marvel Sketch Cards.
That's right. OCD Marvel Sketch Cards. So appreciate it. So, all right, my guys.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. No, and thank you for being my co-host tonight. Again, we did lose Sin City cards and comics, but I think I'm just gonna have a guest co-host until I find a replacement. And if I don't find a replacement, it'll just be Marvel Bros and Friends. That just means that we're all Marvel Bros or friends, right? So.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody in the chat as well.
Okay, we'll see you guys. Peace.